Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the coin and welcome to your latest Chelsea news. There's a lot of outrage in regards to Nicolas Jackson, some rightly so, some not so much warranted. We're going to try and delve deep into this situation. And obviously, like always, I want to give my opinion on it. And then, like every time, I want to see what you guys have to say in the comments section. Look, there's no two ways about the fact that there's been an absolute brain I don't want to say fart because I hate that word, to be honest. There's been a brain meltdown, if I can put it that way, against Newcastle. There's no two ways about that. Nicolas Jackson has been known to do that type of behavior previously as well. It's just previously he never got a red card. There's clips of him where he elbows defenders. He's done it previously. This time around, I don't understand why there are certain people that are trying to protect Nicolas Jackson in this case that no, that wasn't a red card. No, it was a blatant red card. Let's get one thing right. It was a blatant red card. Now, a lot of fans off the back of that incident, it's right to say you did cost us the match. Yes, there was a long time still left, but with a man down at St. James's Park is almost near impossible. We almost equalized, to be honest, with a man down. But that stadium, when you're 11v11, is tough enough, let alone a man down. So the outrage of him, the fan base trying to say that you've cost us the match, I understand it. I definitely get it. And I think to a certain degree, it's right. It's right. It only has sort of somewhat worked out right at the end because not worked out, like somewhat sort of eased off a little bit at the end because Nottingham Forest has dropped points. Now, the part where I get a bit iffy about is a lot of the fan base is now saying, we want him sold, we want him gone, we don't want to see him play for us ever again. Obviously, he's not going to play for Chelsea Football Club this season. Well, he can in the European stage. He can definitely participate in the final against Real Betis, but for the Premier League section, it's done. It was a straight red card, so he's not going to play the final two matches. In fact, he's also going to miss the first match of the Premier League new season next season. So many are saying, no, we don't want to see him. We want to get rid of him right away. This is where I'm like, I'm not really sure whether selling Nicolas Jackson is the right procedure here. I think there's value in Nicolas Jackson. I've always maintained this. Always maintained this. I think that we've seen some level of development, no doubts about that. Does he need to have more development to happen down the track? Fully agree. Excuse me. Fully agree that he definitely needs to improve a lot more. But I don't think it's wise to let him go right now. I don't think it's wise to sell him. There is value in keeping him as a squad player. This is where I feel a big time striker is much needed. We need a striker with immense experience at the highest level that has done it on a consistent basis to come in and teach Nicolas Jackson and help him. He is young. Nicolas Jackson's 23. So there's a lot of room for improvement. There's a lot of good things about Nicolas Jackson. There really is. We're not going to sit here and pretend that Nicolas Jackson, there's no value in him. There is. But the problem is, he's probably not ready to lead the line right now. He needs someone like Victor Osimhen, for instance, to be the main character, and then Jackson learns off him until Jackson can take over. Look, I've got no issues if ultimately Chelsea want to cash in, if there is a big opportunity. But as I said, I'm not going to pretend that we didn't see a lot of good stuff from Nicolas Jackson earlier on this season. Yes, he went through that barren run. Yes, he had that injury, and post-injury took a little bit of time to get back into gears. Recently, he scored some goals. Obviously, he's dropped a stinker against Newcastle, where it mattered the most. Huge match in the context of this season. And he's let us down, of course. But me personally, I don't think it would be wise to get rid of him because, as I said, he would be a solid squad striker. It wasn't that long ago. A lot of us were saying Nicolas Jackson is probably one of the better strikers in the Premier League. Let's check this out. This is from The Athletic. An apology from Nicolas Jackson will not be enough after his red card ended his Premier League season prematurely. Enzo Maresca did not even look at Jackson as the Senegal international walked off the pitch and down the tunnel. Who can blame him? If it's not only made Chelsea's chances of staging a comeback in this match slimmer still, but has also severely weakened the team for their final two league games against Manchester United and Nottingham Forest. 100%. It's put us in a dangerous predicament. Jackson will automatically receive a 3-game ban for violent conduct, and so will have to watch the must-win fixtures from the stands. There is a section of Chelsea support who do not think Jackson has what it takes to be the main man to lead the line. The doubters will have only increased in number after what transpired here, and will hope the club succeed in finding a new centre forward in the summer. For now, Maresca will have to make do with Christopher Nkunku. Yeah, Christopher Nkunku is not happening. Or the returning Mark Guiu neither was in the matchday squad at St James's Park, or contemplate filling in with Cole Palmer or Pedro Neto as false nine for the foreseeable future. I think Tyreek George's name should be out there. Mark Guiu, I don't think is really an option. He has not played for a long time. All of a sudden now you're the number 9 and you're going to have to play against Man United and Nottingham Forest. I don't think that's wise. Look, this is the section that I'm saying. And like always, I want to know what you guys have to say about it in the comment section. Do you think it's done? Do you think he needs to just be sold? As Eunice has said, Yap Stam, do the Yap Stam on him. Look, me personally, yes, I agree. He's not ready to lead the line, but I disagree in the fact that letting him go. I think there is serious value in keeping Nicolas Jackson, who could potentially turn out to be a very, very good player. Whether he becomes a striker down the track, I don't know. I feel like he's far more better as playing as a second striker. I think he would thrive if there was another, big targetsman up front. Him leading the line on his own right now, he's definitely not capable of it. And we may sit here and say, look, then Miz, if he's not capable of that, then what do we have him? I get that. As I said, I'm not gonna be, losing my mind if we were to sell Nicolas Jackson. All I'm saying is, I think the whole outrage about people wanting him gone, we could definitely use him as a good squad player who could eventually learn from that main striker and become a far better player. The problem is, are we going to get a main striker? And this is what we're going to talk about very, very soon. This is coming from Rahman Osman, told Nicolas Jackson is very upset with himself for the sending off against Newcastle. He wanted to fight for the team and didn't want to be bullied by the Newcastle backline, but regrets what he did. Look, there's no two ways about the fact that was a red card. That was violent conduct. He shouldn't have done that. He should have thought better. He wanted to be far more physical. That's not the way to be physical. And I know he was getting frustrated in that game because he really was getting bullied around. So he wanted to make sure that he wasn't getting bullied around. And by doing that, he smashed the living daylights of that Newcastle defender, which was wrong. Look, I want him to mature. I thought he was maturing. Looks like he needs to mature a lot more. It's good to see that he is hurting. A lot of people have said that they don't want to see an apology straight after the match. And that's fine. I get annoyed as well when I see players apologize. Like, for example, Romeo Lavia has apologized for his involvement in the goal that we conceded initially against Newcastle. There's no need for that. Sometimes, look, in this case, I could understand if Nicolas Jackson came out and apologized, but in Romeo Lavia's case, it's not needed. You don't need to apologize. I could understand if Nicolas Jackson did it, but good that he didn't, because the outrage would have been even worse. People would have been saying all sorts of stuff in the comment section below. So no need to do that. If you feel bad about it, yeah, obviously go through sources, journalists and whatnot, and let them know that, yeah, you are feeling bad about it. Now, strikers. Are we going to get an elite striker? The answer is no. Several strikers' names considered by Chelsea, including Benjamin Sesko, who I don't think is an elite striker. Liam Delap is a good striker, but still a lot to develop. Hugo Ekitike is definitely not an elite striker. Who they sign, or perhaps significantly who they do not secure, will depend on whether they are in the next season's Champions League or not. If these names depend on whether we are going to be in the Champions League or not, I find it strange. These players should not care about Champions League football. Firstly, we shouldn't be going for these type. This is why I get upset. This is why I understand why certain people say, this is why I understand why certain people say, get rid of Nicolas Jackson, get me someone elite, because we're going to end up getting someone like this. If we get someone like this, these three names, whether it's Sesko, Delap, and Ekitike, we still need that experienced striker. We still do. It's not going to cut it. It's just not going to cut it. Next season, we're going to be in struggle street again. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts. I think some of these strikers are very good. Delap would be my first choice, but even Delap, he's a developing striker. So you've got Nicolas Jackson who's developing, and then you want to add Delap on top of that, who's also going to develop. Who's going to develop who? Where's that experience? Where's that striker that these players can look up to and learn from? Nowhere to be seen. This is the problem. This is the true problem. It's the way we run as a football club. We change that, a lot of things will change. And in regards to Liam Delap, anyway, Liam Delap is leaning towards joining Manchester United. This news is fast growing. He seems to favor Manchester. That's fine. United could still make the Champions League. We could still make the Champions League. Apparently, he wants Champions League football. We shall see. Look, I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to be crying myself to bed if we don't get Liam Delap, because personally, we need far more experienced striker. Delap is a very, very good player, someone that we can work on. But if we're getting Delap, sell Jackson and still get an experienced striker. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about everything we spoke about. Smash up the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe and hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, take care. See ya. Bye.